We need bold actions, not conversations. That appears to be a direct swipe at President Obama, who has called for an adult conversation about the nation's finances. Another Republican, this one a freshman, is taking aim at the president's budget as well, coming down hard on what he says is the government's inability to live within its means. Joining me now from Michigan is Congressman Bill Huizenga. Congressman, great to have you today.
My pleasure, Shannon. Thanks for having us.
All right. You say that the president broke the nation's heart on Valentine's Day because of the budget he delivered. Yeah. How so?
Well, we heard one message at the State of the Union, and as a freshman, I'm more than willing to give him the benefit of the doubt after this election. I was hoping that he had learned some lessons. He talked a good game at that State of the Union. I think we've seen a number of people on both sides of the aisle talk about this, but now is really the time to deliver. We have got to get our spending under control. This budget that he proposed did not do that. It didn't do it on the short term, and it certainly didn't do it on the long term because we did nothing about entitlement reform.
That is definitely a key point. It wasn't included, but a lot of folks say the administration was simply entering into a contract negotiation. They came with an offer that may be very far away from Republicans and where they may be willing to meet, simply because you have to have a starting point so both sides can have concessions and work to the middle. What's wrong with that approach?
Well, starting point and leading are two different things, and I was hoping to see a little more leadership out of the president. The cynical side would say this was a political budget at best. I don't think it's really an opening negotiation when you're not serious with the other side.
Okay, let's talk entitlements. You mentioned that. The only person that we've heard really talk about that too much, it's come from Paul Ryan, of course, the House Republican, who chairs the Budget Committee there. The president did talk about Social Security and said there could be some tweaks made there that would be less painful than taking on Medicare and Medicaid. But how do you tackle those things that are so big and impact millions of Americans?
Well, I think Chairman Ryan is definitely on the right track, and it was interesting this week. I was in a small briefing with Congressman Ryan, and my staff said to me, all of a sudden I just started twittering like crazy in my Twitter account, which I hope people will follow at Rep. Huizenga. But the reason why I started twittering and talking about this even more was because of those long-term projected numbers, and we've got to get control of that. So we saw Erskine Bowles and we saw Alan Simpson, the Debt Commission, come out with some discussion points about raising the retirement age and looking at means testing and some of those other things. And whether we go that direction or not specifically on means testing, certainly that conversation about raising the retirement age is something that we can have. Now, I had somebody at a town hall meeting sort of go after me about that, and I stopped the guy and I said, look, I'm 42. I will be 106 when these recommendations, if we adopted them right now, would actually come into place. I'm going to be okay. So we just have to reset the paradigm here for people in America on what the purpose of Social Security really is.
Well, you mentioned a town hall. I have to very quickly bring up, we get press releases every day from congressional offices talking about town hall meetings and things that are going on. Yours, though, really jumped out of the pile this week because it said you'll be doing this by snowmobile tour. I got to say, that sounds like one of the most unique ways to get to and from your town hall meetings. That's your plan this week?
That's going to be part of this as we're on our district work week. We're back here in Michigan, and it's actually very relevant in our district because of an issue, a lawsuit that's happening with the National Parks Department. But it's going to have ramifications for every single federal piece of land around the country. And there's an individual that is suing, trying to stop recreational use, hunting as well as recreational use on snowmobiles and ATVs. And to make a point, I wanted to go through our national forest. It's the Huron-Manistee National Forest here in Michigan, and I wanted to go through that part that's in dispute on snowmobile to make a point that I believe very strongly that the American people should have access, recreational access to that property, and hopefully it's going to be some fun too.
All right, hopefully you'll tweet some pictures for us. We'll be following. Thanks so much for your time today,
You
Congressman.
got it. We will definitely do that.
All right.